Welcome back, Crypto Masters, to the Crypto Mastery channel. So today I want to talk through ADA, Cardano. There's some very annoying kind of, people out there and, spreading FUD around it, trying to drive down the price. And it's just really annoying because either you don't know enough about the project to know what's going on, or you're just doing it on purpose in order to drive up the price of another project you're interested in. But what I thought I'd do is I'd face into this information, as I'm sure we've all heard it. If you're here, you know about ADA, and you've heard about, Sundae Swap and kind of their launch and how that might impact, Cardano and ADA moving forward. So I thought the best thing to do is just to face into this head on and take a look at it on this video today to set the record straight. Before we do that, I will say that, all of this is not financial advice. You should always do your own research. You should always invest and make your own investment decisions and, make those choices for yourself. So before we get into it, what I'd say is hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and then you'll be notified of future videos as they come up and as we talk around these topics and other cryptocurrency topics. So let's get into it and let's talk around the future of ADA. So as I said, today's video, we're going to talk around all of these little stories, all of these tweets, these comments, this information coming out saying, be fearful, this could kind of be the end of Cardano. It's going to be really bad for the network. There's going to be loads of problems. I think it's fear mongering. You're trying to drive fear in a market. And basically you're trying to drive those kind of paper hands so people sell kind of Cardano and ADA and move over to another project. I mean, fundamentally what you don't realize is the people who invest in Cardano believe in kind of Cardano and ADA. They believe in what it's trying to do, its utility and the project overall. There will always be a portion of that project who are invested in it, who don't really understand it, right? Don't really understand the fundamentals. And they will be driven by kind of the social news and the kind of, the social element that exists. So basically all this is driven from the fact of, on Cardano, we have things called ISPOs. Initial stake pool offerings, kind of like an IDO for another blockchain. It's where you can stake your kind of ADA in a certain pool that provides that kind of that liquidity or backing to one of these projects, and then they will give you a portion of their project as a reward. And Sundae Swap is basically, if you go over to their website, right, it's the Cardano DEX. It's the first kind of major Cardano DEX. It's going to be really huge. I mean, if you've ever used a DEX before, which basically stands for decentralized exchange, think of it as being something like Sushi Swap, something like Pancake Swap. So it's basically a decentralized exchange where you can go and change kind of one kind of cryptocurrency you have into another cryptocurrency. So, a lot of these kind of DEXs see high volume, high amount of trades per day. People want to do trades fairly instantly to not get hit with things like slippage. Slippage being like I put an order in to purchase, to maybe, let's say, trade ADA for BTC. Now, I want that to go through as fast as possible because I don't want the price of, say, BTC to go up, because then what I get is less than what I expected when I initiated the trade, and that's kind of basically slippage. So, yeah, basically this is a large DEX for Cardano, going to be released. They've been doing their testnet, they've been pushing things forward. And recently they shared an update on expectations, kind of congestion, and some other information around what to expect to the community when this DEX goes live. And I think it goes live on the 20th of January, so not too long now. But basically what they shared is, and what people keep focusing around, if we skip over to their Medium post, is this piece here, right? And basically this says, to be as transparent as we can, we want to inform you that while orders, including swapping, providing liquidity, and withdrawing liquidity, may take days to process. Everybody's orders will be processed fairly and in the order they were received and executable. It will also be possible to cancel orders at any time before they are processed by the scoopers. Basically, you know, a lot of people are jumping on this statement, it's going to take days for them to process orders, you know, that's going to be kind of unusable. Nobody wants to use a DEX if it's going to take days to place an order. Fundamentally, I completely agree. Why would you want to use a DEX that's going to take days to process an order? But it's kind of not the point. I mean, they're sharing this because they know there's a lot of hype around Sundae Swap, right? There is so much hype around this that they know it's going to see a lot of action when it's launched. It's guaranteed. We also look at Cardano and we say, well, actually, Cardano right now, if we skip over to their roadmap, basically in their last kind of focus point around their roadmap, they were focusing on smart contracts. That's where they pumped in most of their focus and efforts. And Cardano have a very solid track record of releasing some major updates to their kind of blockchain network very stably, and they give the results that people expect to see. So that's a fantastic track record, right? The next piece is like what they're focusing on in 2022 is scaling, right? The next part of their kind of their focus is to make the network more scalable, so they can deal with higher throughput and higher number of transactions as people want to use Cardano in 2022 and beyond. Now, obviously, they're not as scalable as they would like to be at this point. However, when we look at something like Sundae Swap, yes, that will be launched. Yes, we might see slower kind of, you know, transaction rates and so on that we would want to see. But it's an amazing testing ground. It almost helps set a baseline, so when they do start to add improvements moving forward, you've got something to measure against in terms of, you know, the level of improvement you're seeing from the new enhancements that you're making. So I actually think the fact that Sundae Swap is coming out, and the fact that it's coming out maybe in a period where full scalability isn't there, is still a positive. We just have to remember, as a community, as an investor, as, you know, someone who's interested in Cardano, that this is all expected information. We should know already that, you know, Cardano ADA is not fully optimized and scalable at this point. You should know you're investing in something that has a roadmap for future releases. Basically, stop fudding and like understand what you're investing in and understand the project before you start rambling on about it. So next, let's take a look at 11 ways that Cardano have shared that how they will scale in 2022. So first of all, they're saying smart contract capability is now deployed. The primary objective was correctness, which they've managed to achieve, and now they're going to focus on performance and scaling. So again, like, it's not like this was a side swipe to them and they didn't know it was there and they were never going to focus on it. The thing about Cardano is they focus on the right thing at the right time. So they're building a solid, very performant kind of blockchain that will be one of the leading future blockchains moving forward. So how are they actually going to do this? These are the 11 ways that they've shared. So the block size increase. So the bigger the block, the more transactions it can carry. Block size was recently increased by 8 kilobytes to 72 kilobytes, a 12% increase. Further increases will be applied over time based on ongoing system monitoring and overall network health. So they're going to focus on increasing the block size as number one. Number two, pipelining. So improves block propagation times by coalescing, validation, and propagation. The goal is for the blocks to be propagated to at least 95% of peers within 5 seconds by reducing the dead time between blocks. Reducing the dead time between blocks. This provides the headroom to make more aggressive scaling changes, such as increasing block size and increasing Plutus parameter limits. So that was number two. So number three, they're going to be focusing on is the input endorser. So input endorsers improve block propagation times and throughput by allowing transactions to be separated into pre-constructed blocks. This improves the consistency of the block propagation times and allows higher transaction rates. Number 4 is the memory and CPU parameters for Plutus. So memory usage is more efficient across the chain. Significantly, there are memory improvements in unspent transaction output handling, state distribution, live state distribution and pools, and hash representation. They then share a bit about the Plutus script enhancements, so even more effective usage of the powerful UTXO model, so EUTXO model, not too sure how to say that, through smart contract optimization, including reference inputs. So Plutus scripts can inspect transaction inputs without needing to spend them. This means that it is not necessary to create the UTXOs, simply to inspect the information held by an input. Plutus datums. So datums can be attached directly to the outputs instead of datum hashes. This simplifies how datums are used. As a user, you can see the actual datum rather than having to supply the datum that matches the given hash. Script sharing, so Plutus script references can be associated with transaction outputs, meaning that they can be recorded on-chain for subsequent reuse. It will not be necessary to supply a copy of the script with each transaction, hugely reducing friction for developers. Reusing scripts in multiple transactions significantly reduces transaction sizes, improving throughput and reducing script execution. Node enhancements, so improvements will help even distribution of stake reward computations across the epochs, thus providing a greater headroom for the block size increases. Also, memory usage is now more efficient. Memory compaction reduces RSS footprint, and memory sharing means we need less data instantiated. So node version 133 from January 22 reduces the peak load at critical points, including the epoch boundary. They're also mentioning on disk storage. So by storing portions of the protocol state on disk, nodes will need to hold less in memory, meaning that RAM-constrained systems will be able to run nodes provided they have sufficient storage, and memory will no longer be a bottleneck on scalability. This will enable significant growth in the blockchain state. They then talk about the off-chain stuff. So a side chain, so side chains basically, a side chain is a separate blockchain connected to the main blockchain. The main chain, also known as the parent chain, through a two-way mechanism, the bridge, that enables tokens and other digital assets from one chain to be used in another and results returned to the original chain. Assets can be moved between chains as needed. One single parent chain can have multiple interoperable side chains connected to it, which may operate in completely different ways. EVM side chains coming to Cardano include Sparks, I think that's Milk Media. Okay, I can't say that. And IOG's Mamba. The share in Hydra, love that name by the way, introduces isomorphic state channels to maximize throughput, minimize latency, and care low to no costs and greatly reduce storage requirements. Hydra provides a more efficient means to process transactions off-chain while using the main ledger as a secure settlement layer. Off-chain computing, so offloading some of the computation, for example, asynchronous contract execution can drive greater core network efficiency. Transactions occur outside of blockchain itself, yet can offer fast, cheap transactions via a trust model. And Mithril, again, love the name. To achieve greater scalability, you need to address the complexity of critical operations that depend logarithmically, I can't even say that word, on a number of participants. Mithril will improve chain synchronization while maintaining trust. The result, multi-signature aggregation that is fast and efficient without compromising security features. So I know that was a mouthful for each of these, right? There's a bunch of terms that maybe we don't all understand, or maybe you don't all understand, that I could go through in separate videos to explain each one of these. You know, I'm struggling with a few words today as well, which I'm sure doesn't really help. But you can see how many ways they're focusing in on this scaling kind of phase for themselves. I'm not going to call it an issue, because it's not an issue, because it's not something that's unexpected. It's something that they've planned for. It's something that, you know, they are going to face into and build solid solutions around. So I'd really like us to stop, you know, or for people to stop kind of fudding against ADA, saying that, you know, when Sundae Swap comes out, it's going to cause a massive problem. It's going to damage the network. It's going to slow it down. It's going to, you know, make people kind of leave the investments. Like, if you're going to leave your ADA investment just because Sundae Swap launches and it's not super scalable on day one, it's not everything that you'd want a DEX to be on day one, then more fool you, right? Maybe jump over to another project and keep jumping, because every project has its failings, right? Some of the other blockchains that are really successful, actually, they focus on maybe like speed and efficiency of the network in terms of transactions, but their reliability is really poor, right? So yes, they may be fast, they've got high transaction times, but again, some of these blockchains have been brought down continuously by things like DDoS attacks. So, you know, if you're not reliable and your chain can be brought down, it doesn't matter how fast your network is, nobody can use it. So your transaction rate goes to zero. So do your own research, make your own decisions, but let's like actually do research on projects. Let's understand if something is an issue. Was it unexpected? Have they planned for it? And actually, you know, is the fact that Sundae Swap launching and not being a resounding success from day one a big problem? Or is it what we could actually use to kind of prove out the scalability moving forward, and something we should actually get behind as a community? So thanks everyone for watching this video. Again, as you can tell, I feel really passionate about kind of this. You know, I'm really like a strong advocate of ADA and Cardano. You know, I love the network. I love the things that they're releasing. And it's frustrating to see like some of the comments and what people are saying online, because I can tell they haven't done much research. They don't really know what they're talking about, but they're just spreading stuff, either just to spread stuff or because they've got some sort of purpose behind it. So I wanted to face into it here, you know, give you some real information, make sure that you're making a decision from a logical standpoint, rather than from a bunch of social kind of, you know, fraud, or kind of, you know, people basically trolling kind of ADA online. So again, I hope you found this information useful, right? Like, what is your opinion of ADA? Do you think this project is strong and has a strong future? Or do you believe, like some do online, that, you know, with the release of Sundae Swap and, you know, with the fact that it will see slower transaction rates, is that really going to hurt ADA in the long run? Is that going to cause you to leave the project? I'd love to hear more from you as a community. Obviously, I'm just sharing my thoughts here. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you on the next video.